Okay. So, okay, now go. So this is Austin. Right. So give us a little bit of your background.
All right. So I started out college not really knowing exactly what I wanted to do as far as pick a major and everything. I was undecided. But I knew I was always into art, or I always had an artistic talent. Never considered myself an artist or anything, but I also am very mechanically inclined and like working on things. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to go into business and management and stuff. That's what my dad always did, sales and things like that. But I'm not much of a salesperson. So
because you're more quiet, right?
Yeah, more kind of laid back. I don't have that personality. I got that gene in my family. My brother's got it. My sister's got it, but I just didn't get it.
It skipped you.
Reason. So, anyways, I went to school, took some classes, kind of goofed off, didn't really do too great, and decided to take a semester off and went and started working in the air conditioning field. I had a friend that was working for a company here in Mobile doing air conditioning work, and I saw he was making good money, and for a teenager it was good money, and having a nice vehicle and things like that. And I was wanting to get kind of going in some direction career wise, because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I started out doing that and quickly learned that I didn't really want to do that forever. I didn't see myself climbing around in attics and sweating and working, when I'm 40 years old. So I got back in school the next semester and decided I don't care what I'm doing. I just need to get a degree in something, get myself going somewhere. And so I started taking on my basic classes and worked my way through like psychology and sciences and all your math and English and history, and kept trying to get into the graphic design program, but for some reason I could never sign up. It was always full. So for like 3 years, I just kept taking my basic classes. Of course, I'm working full time, so I'm only taking like 1 or 2 a semester, and paying for it myself. So once I finally got sick of not being able to get in the graphic design program, I just came and sat in Matt's class, like intro to graphic design. I wasn't on the roll or anything. I just came and sat down and sat through the class, and then waited till the end of the class and told him, look, I'm not on your roll, but I see there's room in here. Can I get in your class somehow? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. So I was like, well, I should have done that to begin with. But, you just got to be proactive, I guess, in anything you do. And that's what it taught me, is just get in there and make it happen. So got into that and worked my way through, intro and whatever the next class, typography.
Applications, typography.
And, they had to go through the sophomore review. And once I went through that and I got accepted, that's when I was like, all right, I'm in it. I'm going to run through this, and this is going to be my career. Because, I've always liked photography, always been into photography. And I figured it'd be a great way for me to use my photography. And just there's a lot of technical aspects of photography that I'm drawn to. There's a lot of technical aspects of graphic design that I'm drawn to. And it's just problem solving and finding, solutions to things, and something I felt like I was pretty good at. So once I got into the graphic design program, I worked part-time doing air conditioning work. Luckily, my company let me do that. That's really unheard of, to be an air conditioning guy working part-time, going to school in another field. But somehow they let me do it, and that's how I was able to get through school. So I took, just my graphic design classes. At this point, I had all my basics done. So all I did was graphic design classes, photography, glass blowing, art history, all my art classes. Took a screen printing class in the summer 1 year, and I just really enjoyed it. And I liked going to school and getting projects done. And I wasn't really worried too much about a job, because I had a job, and I wasn't in school just to get a job. I was in school because I enjoyed it. And
how long did it take you? Because school.
Well, I started college. I graduated high school in 2005. Started college that first semester right then that August. Took the next semester off and went back in 2006. So, it took
8 years. Yeah.
Total.
And you were paying for it yourself. So you were ending up making pretty good money doing air conditioning work when you graduated.
Right. And that was kind of the dilemma I found myself in. I'd never really had a hard time finding a job. If I ever applied for a job, I usually got a call back or at least an interview, and it was usually offered to me until I got a college degree. And then it became harder to find a job. There's jobs out there, but there just wasn't anything out there that I could really financially afford to transition into. Some of the entry-level jobs were a lot less than what I was currently making. And at this point, I had actually started getting student loans after I got through the graphic design program because I had to cut my hours back at work so much that I had to have some assistance there. So I've got student loans after I graduated. I've got, living on my own, all the bills of being an adult, and just some of the starting salaries that I was offered were just a lot, less than what I was making once I was working full time in air conditioning. So I thought to myself, this is great. I got my degree. Maybe I'll find me a decent job and I can kind of transition into and do some freelance work. And I started out actually with a production job, working for a company in town that did a lot of architectural millwork, and they did a lot of custom signs and fabrication work, and it was really interesting. And did some really cool stuff with some laser engravers, with some big printers and plasma cutters, and just made all kinds of cool stuff. And I did that while I was in school. So like my senior year, I think I had 3 or 4 jobs, if you include the Oracle. I worked part-time at my air conditioning job. I worked part-time at this production job. I did some freelance. Always done some freelance photography and stuff, mainly like real estate photography and things like that. But so I had like 3 or 4 jobs, going to school, just not getting any sleep, just trying to get through it. And I finally made it through. I think about halfway through my last semester, I quit my air conditioning job. And it was a kind of a big deal to leave there. And I started working just part-time at the fabrication company doing production work. And then I found a opening for a magazine. I thought that was more creative, more into the direction I wanted to go. So I went into doing the magazine, which was fun and interesting, but it just didn't pan out with what I was getting paid and what my hours were, and just didn't really see a future for it. So I went back to air conditioning work and started making good money again and worked my way up to a point where I was able to save some money and financially get stable. And then was starting to look for other design jobs and just applied to pretty much anyone I could find online. And I got a few calls back, a few interviews, but it just seems like nobody really was wanting to hire somebody who had all this experience in air conditioning, but not much experience in graphic design, and pay them a decent, amount. But I have my mom who knows a lot of people and networks. She's in real estate, so she was always talking to people and asking people, my son's looking for a job doing this, she just always brought it up. So she was always telling me, you should apply here, you should talk to so-and-so. And I always, kind of look at it and entertain it. And it was always some kind of off the wall stuff. And I never really felt like branching out right then. I just wanted to keep doing air conditioning work. It was steady. It was confident. I was good at it and I was making good money, but I knew I wanted to do graphic design. That's what I went to school for. I have a passion for it. I just couldn't find the right way to jump careers. And then I got a message from a guy that works at the company I'm at now, and they weren't hiring a graphic designer, but they're hiring. So I was like, okay. They're an air conditioning distributor. They distribute the products and the tools and the equipment to all the local companies who install it and sell it and everything. I was like, well, that's cool. It's still in air conditioning. It's, on another side of the fence. I'll try and get in any way I can just to get out of, being in a attic and working, sweating and being on call and working all night long. So I applied for a job that I really wasn't qualified for. I ended up getting an interview.
What was the title?
The title was estimator, which was basically somebody who would configure prices for big jobs.
Right. Totally not what you're doing currently, right?
Right.
So sometimes you just apply even if it's not really what. Okay.
Exactly. And that's what I was getting at. I mean, you got to just get out there and apply for a job and see where it takes you. But the position didn't pan out. They hired someone else with a lot more experience, which was fine. But during my interview, I got to talk with them about my graphic design background. The guy I was interviewing with actually used to own a print shop. So we kind of had that in common. We're talking about it. I had my portfolio with me, so I showed him some of my work. And, later on, he did mention to me that they had a full-time graphic designer on staff in their headquarters, which is in Norcross, Georgia. I was like, well, that's cool. If I get on, maybe one day I could work into that position. But anyway, so like a month later, their graphic designer resigned, and they happened to have my resume, and I had a good interview. And one thing led to another. With this company, when a job opens up, they let everyone know, so that if you know someone, you get first dibs. If you know someone that you want to get hired here, like a friend or something, you can let them know. So I was contacted for that, out of the blue. Like, I didn't apply for this job at all.
Right.
Actually working on a generator that day, doing maintenance, and I think I was in auto parts store getting a bunch of oil and filters, and I got, random phone call on my phone, and it was the marketing director for this company. Said he had my resume and wanted to know, if I'm still interested in doing graphic design work. I said, yeah, sure. What are we talking about here? Kind of, trying to see if this was just another one of those, like, off the wall jobs or not. But it didn't really dawn on me what opportunity I had right then until I started thinking about it.
Did you think it was going to be in Atlanta?
I didn't know. I didn't know what it would be. It didn't really cross my mind. It was just, any opportunity to work for this company would be great, is what I was thinking.
As a designer,
especially, but it's just a great company in general. And I really realized that after I got hired. But yeah, I ended up scheduling an interview at like 7 a.m. at a Cracker Barrel. I had the meeting before I went to work. And so ended up squeezing it in somehow. And couple weeks later, I was offered the job. Actually, they flew me to Atlanta for another interview. So I was first interviewed here, and then they flew me to Atlanta for another interview. And then after that interview, I waited a little while and got a phone call and got the job. So, I mean, you never know what you're going to get into when you apply for a job, what it'll lead to.
And really, one of the best things was they loved that you had all that experience in air conditioning, because you understood and you knew what these companies would need and to explain them in the material.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Of course, I was, one of the most probably qualified, unique candidates they had for this position with my experience in air conditioning. Not so much my experience in graphic design, since I'm fairly new at this. But I did have all this other experience to bring to the table that, typical graphic designer doesn't have. So it was kind of that crazy combination that really, intrigued them about hiring me. And I mean, without my experience in air conditioning, if I'd have just come in here just as a graphic designer, I probably wouldn't have even gotten an interview. It's just basically, you never know what experience that you already have will help you get the job you want.
So what is your job like now, day to day? Kind of, what is it like? What's the company like? So you were pretty quiet in class and school, right? So what were some of the challenges about going on so many interviews? Kind of take us through a little bit of that.
Well, yeah, it was definitely different because I wasn't really sure what to expect. Especially when they flew me out to Atlanta. It's a corporate company. It's a pretty big company. They got about 500 and something employees, and they're all through the Southeast. So it's not like just your little small local business. We got like 30 something locations, 5 different districts. So, I mean,
So do you do the design for all that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm the only graphic designer here. I mean, I'm the guy.
So they just let you, instead of working in Atlanta, they let you work across the bay at that location.
Yeah, because the way our marketing team is broken down, it's the marketing director who's also the general manager of this region. So he's located here, and that's who originally called me and hired me. And then we have a marketing manager who's in Norcross who handles more of the strategies and the business end of marketing, getting the programs put together and rolled out. And then he corresponds with me to get, all the materials put together. I'm working on a magazine ad today that I need to get out for the holidays. But I mean, I'm basically a resource for everyone within this company to have access to graphic design in general, like whether you need to put together a presentation or if you need to put together, some type of trade show graphics.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of flyers. Yeah, they have different events and different, especially in Norcross, they've got a lot of, it's a big corporate company up there, so they've got a lot of internal events that they put together, and they like to have a flyer to put out in the email and, get the word out. So I get a lot of that, but I also get opportunity to work on some pretty big projects, like, different branding projects, different, advertising projects, but it's all, put on my shoulders. It's all on me to get it done. Not just the creative part, but the management part, getting it all sorted out and coordinated. That's my title, as a marketing coordinator. That's what it's always been. And I added the / graphic designer to it.
So you had all that, working all those jobs senior year and working and juggling all the stuff that you had to do helped you be organized, helped you be ready for this. So, but you are alone. So there's no one to really get feedback from, and there's nobody to go to if you don't understand something. So what do you do? And do you like that part?
That's the only part I say that I'm missing, as opposed to working at like an agency when you have another graphic designer right next to you, or creative director, art director to go to. But I mean, I am art director. I am creative director. I'm everything here, and everybody here depends on me to be everything. So I'm just like a one-man marketing firm, and I put it, on my shoulders to get things done, and you just have to make it happen. So yeah, working all those jobs simultaneously definitely helped me prepare for that, and just being able to do, working for the Oracle helped me out a lot for sure. I was a big part of, big part of experience, and I had the printed Oracle book to show in my interview in Atlanta and show them that here, I made this book. So, I mean, working with a bunch of people and putting things together and holding people responsible and accountable, and, corresponding through email and phone calls, getting the information you need instead of just, waiting around for somebody to write you back or something. You just have to constantly reach out to people and poke them. But hey, do you have that, that file I asked you about? You just have to constantly be proactive. That's the main thing about doing graphic design is you're not going to be able to just sit back and do art and do what you want to do. I mean, that can be done if you're in a different art, if that's what you do is create art and you sell it. But as graphic designers, we have to make art, but it has to be done for other people. And a lot of times they want it to be done a certain way. So you kind of have to swallow your pride a lot and just do things that you think that may not be the way you would do them personally, but you got to make your client happy. You got to make their client happy. Like I do a lot with managers who have customers who own these businesses, and they'll want to put something together for this air conditioning company. Local guy doesn't have a whole lot of office staff or anything, needs some type of ad, put out a mailer. So our managers go out and talk to these guys and offer them that service. As part of dealing with our company, you have access to me, the graphic design guy, who can put all the marketing stuff together for your company.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
One of the things you said the other day that really stood out was that your boss, so company culture is really, really, really great there, and that your boss really doesn't stand over you. Do you have this done yet? Do you have this? Like a lot of things are just your responsibility. He doesn't care when you come in or when you leave, just as long as you get your work done. And you're not able to leave at 3 p.m. every day because you have a lot of stuff to do because you are the person for everybody. But
funny, actually, Friday I stayed late. I was the last one here, and my keys to the building were in my truck. And whoever left last actually locked the door, so I was locked in Friday night. Couldn't even leave, but I found a way out.
but those are things that probably because you had worked for the company doing air conditioning, they would send you out. And so this is not you're not like me. You're not super outgoing. I think you're terrific, but that's not your original. But you having that job in air conditioning really helped you come out of your shell because you had to talk to people, right?
Right. Yeah. That whole developing a rapport with your customer. Well, like I was a residential service tech, so I was going to people's homes and coming in and meeting them for the first time. And they're letting me in their house to work on the air conditioner, and you just have to have a certain amount of people skills to be able to do that for people to trust you. And, in order to have people let you in their home and let you work on their air conditioner and not, second guess your every move. And you just have to feel that confidence. You just have to portray yourself as confident, like you know what you're doing, even if you don't. If you don't know what you're doing, you go out to the truck and you call somebody and you ask them, hey, I don't know what's wrong with this unit. I can't figure it out. And you go back in and you fix it. But you don't let the customer see that you're uncertain. Would you ever do that stance? Because we watched that Amy Cuddy video. Would you stand out there with your hands in the Superman pose? No. Good to know. I don't think so. So you went to Flourish last year, the AIGA. Do you think that helped? Do you think would you encourage them to do that? Yeah, I would. I was there really just to kind of see like who else is out there and just to kind of see some of these local graphic designers and companies and meet them and talk to them, which I thought was interesting. But actually, when I left there, I felt like, maybe I should keep doing air conditioning for a while. I don't know. I didn't feel like there was a lot of opportunity for me personally. And I realized that, I don't really want to work at a design agency. Is basically what I determined is I don't want to work in that atmosphere. because you never know really if you're going to have a job next month. It depends on the company, how well it's doing. You know, if they lose a big client, they may have to get rid of you. And that's just the reality of it. So you just got to always be on your toes and always have good work and good portfolio ready to show. But I mean, if you're good at what you do, I'm sure they'll keep you around, but it's just a different business. And the business I'm used to is air conditioning. And I mean, there's not more job security in any other business in the South, I don't think. I mean, people got to have the air conditioners. I mean, period. They'll pay for whatever they got to have air conditioning. So, I mean, as long as you're working for a good company in the air conditioning field, I mean, you're going to have a good job.
So do you have any because we have like 4 minutes left. Do you have any tips for thesis or getting a job or not getting discouraged or?
If anybody doesn't feel like they're getting anywhere on their thesis, I actually did my thesis in like 2 weeks. I had nothing like 2 weeks before thesis. I had a lot of ideas and a lot of different concepts, but I hadn't actually started putting anything together. But I threw it together and got it done and passed. But that's just the way I am. I'm a last minute type of person. If I've got a week to do a project, I'm probably going to get started on it like a day or two before it's due, and I'm going to put it together.
But you don't do that now.
No, I can't do that now. I have to have bits and pieces of it. But sometimes I still kind of hold off on things. And,
but you make decisions quick.
Yeah, you got to make decisions quick. I just like working on something constantly from start to finish instead of kind of going back and forth between a couple different projects. But here at this job, I got so many, like juggling so many different projects at once that I have to, keep that balance. But, I mean, as far as advice, getting a job, I would say just go apply, figure out what you've got experience in, whether it be graphic design related or not, and use it to your advantage. And if you don't have experience at all, just get any type of job. Any type of job is great. I think if you get a college degree and you've got your portfolio and it looks good, that'll get you an interview. If you've got a good personality and you've got, really good work, then that's probably going to get you hired. And then it really depends on what experience you have as far as what you're going to get paid. It's all based on experience. So just get experience in the job, in the field that you want to be in the industry you want to be in, and then find a way to do what you do best, which may be graphic design, may not be, but you can use all the skills you get from learning graphic design in anything you do. And I mean, that's one thing I've learned is, even if I wasn't to go into this field, I got a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge that I can apply to everything that I do in air conditioning or any other job.
So do you guys have any questions for Austin? I'll show you them, but I'm going to take you off the big screen.
All right.
But I'll still have you hooked up to the computer sound. So I'm doing the best I can. And then way over there is Allie. There we go. So they said your company, one of the benefits is that they would pay for you to go to a conference, right? So you're going to try to go to Creative South.
Yeah, that's the plan. They don't mind spending money on me to help me get better at doing what I do because that makes them better. So,
yeah.
I mean, you got your advantages and disadvantages of being at like an agency or ad firm or something like that. But at least, you get with a good company. It doesn't really matter if they're ad agency or design firm, but if they're a good company to work for, it's going to be a good place to work.
Well, I'm super proud of you, Austin. Thank you for taking the time today to encourage them to do something and to.
Well, hopefully it helps. I know what it's like when you get out of college and you don't know you think, I thought I'm going to get out of college. I'm going to get a great job. I'm going to make all this money. And then realize, well, actually it's a little different. You got to start from the bottom, work your way back up. So just be prepared to start somewhere and not stay there, but work your way through to get to where you want to be. Yep,
that's super true. What is that stuff on the top of your filing cabinet?
Those are isolators.
Oh, they look cool. You should make up some other name thing for it when you're talking to people who don't know anything about it.
No, right before I got on here, I was like, I need to take those down. Those look weird.
No, they look cool. They look like some sort of stamp thing. I've been thinking, I'm going to ask him about it the whole time.
Yeah, it's just a spring. It goes on a unit to keep it from shaking.
So from far away, they look really cool. I was like, some cool tool Austin has. You need to put some of your photos on the wall, though.
Yeah, I haven't really decorated the office yet. I just got in this office. I had a different one, so.
You need some books, too.
Yeah.
Okay, Allie has a question.
Hi. I'm doing Oracle this year, and me and Joshua are, but he's not in here. Is there any, big piece of advice that you could give? Because I'm starting to stress about it.
What was the first part? I didn't hear that.
Doing the Oracle, she's starting to stress. Do you have any advice for her?
I mean, you're the art director?
Yeah, they have 2 this year. We're trying something new.
Really? That's awesome. What I would do mainly is just make sure your curator does their job and doesn't wait till the last minute.
They've already done that. They've already voted. They're tallying the votes now. So that hopefully won't happen.
And just find a way to work it into your schedule without spending all your weekends and nights working on it. That's what I did, is I didn't have a lot of spare time.
Christmas break.
Yeah. And that's what I did too, is I knew during Christmas break, and that was full-time Oracle. But I mean, I was always running behind on things, but like I said, it's kind of personality I am. I'll wait till last minute sometimes, but just if I had any advice, I would just, get on the ball and get it rolling.
Okay.
But it did look good in your portfolio to have that.
Which one?
Yeah.
The pink one. It was
good,
a girl with.
Yeah.
And you got to work with the English department and understand that their Oracle is really, really big deal to them.
Yeah.
And I want it to be like this big shining masterpiece, and do it. That's your client is the English department, really. And whoever your editor-in-chief is, see if they've got any ideas and try to make it to where it has a good theme and a good understanding of what the issue is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just having a book or a magazine that needs to have some actual meaning behind it.
Right.
I think the meaning behind ours was the Holly Festival, where they throw the dye in the air and they have all the different color dye and smoke in the air. I don't know what you call it exactly. I think it's called the Holly Festival. I don't know. It's in there. The editor-in-chief wrote a big write-up on it on the first couple of pages, and that's kind of what we based it off of. And then he had kind of an idea of what he wanted to do for the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and shot that picture and made it work. And just
you took the picture?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the only photo is my secondary, and I'm the only one in here that does that. So did you do photo as your secondary?
No, I didn't have. Well, I had interdisciplinary secondary.
But he did a ton of photos. He's really amazing. He does a lot of photos on his kayak, outside cool. Adventure kind of fishing. Beautiful, beautiful photos.
I do a lot of landscape photography.
That's tough.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Last Friday, I spent 3 hours walking around downtown by myself taking pictures.
Yeah, I get that.
Gulf Quest and other things that were like lit up at night. It looked cool. Doing long exposure photography is what I like to do. But yeah, use that to your advantage. I'm not much of an illustrator. That's something I wish I would have gotten more experience with in school.
You can do that later.
Illustrations. What's that?
You can always do that later. I didn't do that. I was more of a photographer in school, and now I'm doing illustrations.
She's
Or
doing
trying.
really well.
Yeah. I did the illustrations for my Oracle.
Yeah, she did.
I did. Well, Austin, thank you. And
Thank you.
I'll try to see
You're
if I
welcome.
can connect you with Allie and Joshua just to maybe give them a little advice or give them a shoulder to cry on if they need it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great afternoon. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.